All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. Today, we have got ourselves Harstem in the bottom left-hand side of the map, and his opponent in the top right-hand side of the map. It is Liquid's Clem. I still am not used to seeing that clan tag. I am not used to Clem being on Team Liquid. I think it's an amazing pickup, him going to such a prolific team. He's a great addition to the team. He's up and coming. He's awesome. And I'm just not used to it. I just see Liquid and I'm like, oh, is it Euthermal? Is it TLO? Is it Mana? No, it's Clem, and it's fantastic. As Team Liquid really is synonymous with Starcraft 2. I know a lot of people have been mentioning that lately. Now, Harstem's team, I'm not 100% sure on that. I want to say he's on Asterion, but he may no longer be. So let me double check that. Wait, Harstem got picked up by Team Liquid. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. Harstem got picked up by Team Liquid. He's not rocking the clan tag, but this is actually a... This is actually like just a total team kill here. We've got, I did not expect this. Harstem is also on Team Liquid. By gosh. I know they signed 2 players, but for some reason I totally blanked on that. I'm tired, guys. My sleep schedule is a mess lately. Due to working nights, it's pretty hard to have a good one. And so my body's like, what are you doing? Because I'm awake, and usually I'm probably asleep at the minute, but... we'll figure it out. I'm still lively enough to cast some Starcraft 2 for the channel. Now, Clem and Harstem are both really great players. I'd say Clem is probably the favorite. He's been having some more significant results. He seems to be a little bit more fierce than Harstem as of late, but Harstem, he always shows exciting Starcraft 2 games because he's got a fun approach to the matchup usually, or to any matchup. And he even streams a lot, so you guys should check that out, as he really talks about what he's doing. Like, he explains it very well. There's not really an action that he does which he doesn't think about or reflect on, as opposed to just doing like some mindless build. Now, the Reaper's going to come on in towards Harstem's main base. The Sentry does pop out. Sentry's not the best at killing Reapers, but may be able to get it. We'll see if the Reaper does get picked off by this Adept, though. That would be a big deal. Looks like no, the Reaper will get on out. Oh, this probe heading back could be an easy target for the Reaper, but no, the Reaper does end up getting repelled. The probe stays alive. All is well. And yeah, just everything is normal here. Ladies and gentlemen, seeing as how we have 6 army supply for Clem and 6 for Harstem, that means we have 6 plus 6. So let's try and hit 12 likes on this video. You guys have been showing more and more support for the non-Alpha Star content on the channel, which is great. I try and cast the best StarCraft 2 pro games for you. And so showing your support via liking, via subscribing if you happen to watch the content is great. Now, we have got Harstem going for a bit of a classic build here. The classic Blink opener, 1 gateway at first, then getting out a second. It's a very safe build versus harassment. It can be a bit vulnerable to, say, big pushes, but nothing too significant, really, as it is quite a well-rounded build for Protoss to open with. Now, Harstem, he went for a hallucinated Phoenix, in order to... Oh, this Hellion's given him a bit of grief while this is going on, but as I do check that out, Clem was basically going for like a total fake out here. He got out a medivac. What? Man, this Hellion is still going. I can't believe it got 2 kills. This is actually kind of like a big blunder from Harstem. This one Hellion just pulled him apart for so long. But yeah, Clem kind of was selling that he was going for a Banshee, but then he canceled it. As a matter of fact, he just went for a medivac and is going to try a Mind Drop. This is forcing Harstem to get out a Robo, but as he was opening up with that Blink, he won't have to alter his course too much. Clem behind this is just getting up a 3rd command center. He's getting up his additional barracks. Everything is normal. I mean, Harstem lost a couple of probes to that Hellion when, I mean, he could have cleaned it up without losing any, I think. So a bit of a mistake there, but it's not the end of the world trading 2 probes for a Hellion, but it could have been no probes for a Hellion, which is obviously better. Shield battery is up, probably to defend versus that. Oh no, the Widowmine's just gonna burrow. Harstem not paying attention, loses 2 probes. Could have been worse. 1 Widowmine killing 2 probes is pretty generous, but yeah, Harstem, he built that shield battery expecting it to be a Banshee, whereas Widowmines don't care at all about shield batteries. 2 more probes go down to that. Clem, he's keeping the Widowmine alive in the Medivac for now, but it is most likely that this will go down, and it does. Harstem blinks on top of that. All in all, he loses 4 probes for 2 Widowmines, and also gets the Medivac. Not a bad trade at all, because he got the Medivac. Getting a Medivac is worth quite a bit. Clem, while this is going on, though, isn't skipping a beat. He's just macroing up. He's got 47 probes to Harstem's 51, which is pretty good for the Terran, I feel. Harstem is going to be getting out some more probes after this, but I'm actually feeling pretty darn comfortable here for Clem for the minute. Because if we take a look, Harstem has just started charge, whereas Clem's well on his way into 1-1 bio. He's going to have out lots of production to support this. He's got up his 3rd base. Just due to the nature of the macro and the way the game's played out, I feel like Harstem is a little bit behind here. Clem's definitely got the lead, even losing a couple of stalkers there, or just 1 stalker, getting a few more bruised up. I feel like Harstem is making the odd mistake here or there. Alright, Widowmine's on the way, and just to reflect a little bit, when I say Harstem's making the odd mistake, it's not like there's any total blunders, but I feel like things aren't going like super amazing for him. They're not going bad, but with the way Clem's been macroing up behind this, he does have quite a good position compared to Harstem, whose isn't that great. Now, this is some very good micro from Harstem. He actually gets a Marauder, softens up a few Marines. That's a job well done by Harstem. He's going to have to be vigilant with these Stalkers, though, to keep an eye on this bio, not to get caught and lose the Stalkers, in order to try and get any pick-off that he possibly can. He blinks in, he sees these Marines. The Marauders and Marines are going to pursue these Stalkers, so they're going to pick off one of the Marauders. 1 Stalker goes down. The Stalkers blink to try and escape from this force. So far, Harstem has been getting some pretty good pick-offs with these Stalkers, though. How is his macro behind it? To be honest, I'm a little bit concerned. Harstem uses a recall to get the Stalkers away, good call. But as I said, I'm a little bit concerned if we take a look at the worker count. Clem, the macro machine, is just on par with workers as the Protoss, which is great for the Terran, not good for the Protoss. If we take a look at the army supply, Clem's got a lead. Upgrades, Clem has got a lead for now. Albeit his 2-2 is a little bit delayed due to the nature of his armory timing. But while I've been sort of saying Harstem doesn't seem to be in that great of a position, while Clem's attack here could look a little bit scary, Harstem does have Psystorm. I just want to sort of preface, I'm not kind of like dumping on Harstem here or anything. It's just that Clem's macro we're seeing is so good. Like, he's just got so many units. Now, the Raven does come in, tosses out an interference matrix. I'm not actually sure what it hit there. I'm actually quite unsure what that interference matrix hit, but either way, the auto turret went down. There's no Psystorm left for Harstem. He's going to bleed off most of his army here. Fortunately, Charge Lot's very good at reinforcing this type of situation. Come on in. Harstem dodges the Widowmine, or takes at least the best possible hit he can. The second one, he's not going to be so lucky. Eats a bit of splash damage. He will end up repelling Clem, though. All the while, we've got a Prism going for some counter damage, but oh, it might actually get picked off. The Zealots unload. The Prism is still alive, but Harstem, oh no, he's going to lose the Prism when he probably could have kept it alive. And the Prism does end up going down, though. Harstem, with his Zealots, actually pushes Clem all the way home, which is quite nice, but as he doesn't have the Prism, he has to pull back. There's no possible way he can keep pushing Clem. Harstem, he stays alive. He repels his opponent. His position in this game, it's never really been awful, but it's never really been great either. Clem has just been showing essentially flawless macro, essentially flawless follow-up. I would like to point out his upgrades, I feel, still are a little bit later than they could have been. His enhanced shockwave, though, his ghosts are on the way, his 4th base is on the way, very reasonably timed compared to the Protosses. I mean, Clem's economy this game has just been great. It's been wonderful. Worker count is actually dead even, which is not considered a good thing for the Protoss player. Clem's economy has just been blowing me away. We've got Liberators prepared to harass the natural. Harstem did set up a cannon, though, to help defend versus these. A cannon and a shield battery, a very nice combo. And we see Clem's looking to push on in. He's going to be trying to give Harstem some more grief. There is no Warp Prism, though. There's the Prism. It can now pick up these Templar. They can avoid the EMP easier by staying in that Prism, unloading on the Terran army and dropping Psystorm. But if we take a look, Liberators go into the natural. Clem avoids the first, or Clem avoids the cannon at the natural, all the while he's pushing in at the third. Harstem baiting out most of these Widow Mines. He's still got Psystorm in this Prism, but it's a little bit concerning just because Psystorm only gets you so much in a situation like this. So Harstem is going to start bleeding off units as all the Psystorm is gone. The Marauders picking off the Stalkers. Clem will be forced home. While this went on, though, the Liberators did get some kills. There's one in the main, the one in the natural. They have both been cleaned up, though, by Harstem. We haven't seen too many workers go down. And I do want to point out, Harstem behind this has been transitioning. He's been getting out a few Colossus. And I can't speak highly enough of a few Colossus in the Protoss army. Even if it's not a main Colossus army, having one or two in your force can almost be better than, say, having mass Colossus. Because if you only make one or two Colossus, the Terran won't necessarily commit to Vikings. And then you can get a lot of mileage out of those one or two Colossus. Harstem, however, is committing to a lot of Colossus. They'll help out by having longer range. They can help zone out the Terran force. All the while, though, Clem is making a lot of Liberators. He is making just a big number of them. He's gonna have quite the force. The Liberators will be tough for Harstem to deal with. He's gonna need good Psystorm, good blink-ins. For now, though, he is gonna have to go back. Ghost tosses down an EMP. High Templar wanders forward, tossing down Psystorm to repel the Terran army. The Stalkers have to focus down the Liberators, but on the ground there simply isn't that much out for Harstem. He could potentially lose one Colossus, and he does. His force on the ground is just not looking that big. He does get all the Liberators, though. Now with this one Colossus here, he can potentially push Clem back, but Clem ever constantly reinforcing in this situation. Just non-stop unit production. Beautiful, beautiful TvP here from Clem. Harstem, of course, is trying things, but he hasn't had any major luck. He's got his Prism, which is being repelled. It's got to be recalled. A good move from Harstem to keep that alive. He's now going into Disruptors, but he's going to have a tough time taking on this Terran force, I feel. He's got the couple of Colossus, but the Marauders really punish the Stalkers for blinking forward. Clem behind this, he's got up to 5 bases. He's just macroing non-stop. He's keeping pace with the Protoss economy, which is not a good thing for the Protoss. Alright, if we take a look, Clem, he's coming in once again. Harstem has pushed back Clem time and time again, but we have seen constantly that Clem hasn't actually backed off too far. He's just stepped back, composed himself, and he's gone in for another push. And we're looking to see Clem move forward once again. There is 3 Colossus here with +2 attacks, so they put out a lot of damage on this Terran army. They will get some good mileage here. A Disruption Nova goes out, a huge hit for Harstem. That could have been what he needs to push forward here, and it is. He's going to repel these, or he's going to kill the Liberators. He's going to repel the bio. Clem is now looking to go for a drop, because we see, now that Harstem has 3 Colossus, Clem has to make Vikings. You really can't just ignore 3 Colossus, as they put out simply too much damage. They're too strong. We see, though, the drop for Clem, it's at the natural. It takes out the cannon. A few Stalkers have been warped out in to try and deal with this, but they're not really being microed correctly. They're just being picked off. Harstem has to pull back. He's going to have a Disruptor pop out. He even brought another one in. Does he fire them, though? No, he's not really paying attention because he's been focusing on this attack on Clem's side of the map, but he's even got High Templar wandering forward. A couple of mistakes here from Harstem, which the game would be going a little bit better if he wasn't making those mistakes. I think he might have even lost one of those other Disruptors. He lost his High Templar on the front here. And Clem is just still dropping here, still being a pain. The Stalker's warping in slowly, it would seem, or some of them had warped in slowly there. And Clem just getting so much mileage out of this one drop, all the while he's still just macroing behind this. And this game, I feel, isn't getting any better for Harstem. And it's just been a constant state of Clem being slightly ahead. Harstem hasn't been in any major strife, but this game, like, at the current pace, like, Clem has been constantly leading, I feel. He's now even going to go into nukes in this TvP. Clem just showing complete confidence here. And this is quite a statement of how much TvP has improved for Terrans these days. Clem is playing an excellent TvP, and make no doubt, but if this was in the past, without the better EMP, the Terran would be in a much tougher spot. Without the easier Liberator transition, Clem would have had a harder time just keeping the constant pressure on, I feel. And as a result, Harstem is looking to be in a spot of bother. The Terran has been able to pressure non-stop, and Harstem, as I said before, hasn't been able to dislodge his opponent. He can use the Disruptors to zone out Clem constantly, but the Liberators will return the favor and will zone out Harstem. Disruptors are trying to get good connections on the Ghost, Harstem being very sneaky. But, oh, look at this. The Liberator's really starting to choke out his opponent. High Templar lands, get a couple of Psystorms off, but they do go down. Disruptors toss out their Novas. Gets a decent hit or two, but the Disruptors could go down. They load up into the Prism. Incredibly injured Prism there. Harstem playing with fire. However, we do see he's using this position to the south to potentially get a better angle here before he takes the fight. And Harstem will have to fight. He eats some nasty EMPs, though. Disruptors are going to need good connections, or he's going to need a good flank here just with the rest of his army. Harstem's actually deciding to go to the north to try and get the surround on these Liberators. He's got Disruptors to the south, Disruptors to the west, and now his army to the north. This is going to be it for Harstem, but as we see, Clem just stims forward. Disruptors coming from the south there. Most of the Disruptors on the left have been picked off. Harstem is getting the Liberators from the backside, though. There is one Colossus dealing damage. It's going to be a close hold here for Harstem. He's warping in more Zealots, and that should be what he needs to thin out the Terran army enough to repel it. A great play here by Harstem, coming in from so many angles, not letting Clem dictate that fight there. It didn't go perfect for Harstem, though. As we see, he's still down on supply. His army really has fallen. He's going to need to be vigilant with remaxing this. He needs to, say, warp in some more High Templar here. He's going to try and expand, as he's actually been running out of income, running out of bases, as Clem just non-stop has been expanding, getting more bases up. He's in a much better economic position. However, Harstem has survived. Clem, though, once again, he's not going to let up for long. He's remaxing. He's making more and more Liberators. His constant Liberator production, just 4 at a time. And I can't speak highly enough or speak enough about the fact that Terran transitions into Liberators so much easier these days because of the change that advanced ballistics is now researched at the fusion core. You don't need a tech lab on the starport, so you just get right into quad Liberator production very, very easily compared to having to float over a tech lab, float over that starport. It just makes your life way, way easier as the Terran, and this is why Clem is, or partially the reason why Clem is being so fluid, I feel. Like, it makes the transition way easier for the Terran, and, like, I know it's been around a while, this change, but I feel like it hasn't been praised enough or talked about enough to see how the pace of TvP has changed. Clem, though, as we see, is pushing in. He's given Harstem a lot of grief, pushing towards this base Harstem's been trying to establish, and as a result, this is looking pretty tough for the Protoss player. Harstem is seeing an opportunity to bio a little bit out of position, but there's so many Liberators in the sky for Clem. The Warpin gets canceled. Disruptors, they're the comeback unit, but with production like this that Clem has, he's just got such a good economy, constant production. Even if he eats a Disruptor hit or two, he can easily overcome that just with his sheer numbers. And as a result, I mean, Clem, he just seems to be running away with this game. Harstem in no better of a position or no worse of a, or, well, I can't really say it's any better. I mean, it could potentially be worse. his position hasn't got any better as this game's gone on. He lost his 5th base. His army just isn't really speaking to me as far as something that can deal with these Liberators, that can deal with these Ghosts. And so we're seeing Clem just push forward on Harstem, and I am not sure what to say. Like, Harstem is just struggling to keep his 4th base alive at this point, while Clem is building 4 command centers. It's a beautiful TvP we're seeing here from Clem. It's really showing us the revolution that's been happening in this matchup, in a sense, as Terrans are just going into the late game now. Colossus come down from the south. They get a pretty good angle here on the Terran army. The Liberators do all get cleaned up, so Harstem will repel Clem once again. DTs have been warped in to clean up this Bioforce. Harstem is staying alive in this game. His army supply is actually in the lead now, so now could be the time for Harstem to take a good fight or something to keep the pressure on his opponent, but he's going to have to get a lot of damage done to Clem if he wants to take this game. Harstem is pushing in towards the north here. We see Clem starting a couple of command centers. 1 or 2 of them may get picked off here, but yeah, Harstem does need to get a lot of damage done here if he's going to slow Clem down. He might even need to get a kill move by getting onto the production or something. And Clem, he's just going to remax here, and he's going to have a very strong army. He's going to be looking for one big fight, and Harstem, he's been able to recover from these constant trades so far, but at this point, I'm not sure if he loses this fight, if he'll be able to recover. We're seeing Harstem being quite desperate. He wants to push into his opponent's base. He's got 5 Colossus to put out a lot of damage here, but Clem is making Vikings. Disruptors are still being produced here by Harstem. He's making whatever he can. He reestablished his 5th base. He's getting up a 6th base here. However, it has been denied by this Liberator with range, and I don't even think Stalkers can deal with this. So Harstem is going to need a Stargate, but as we see, the Terrans coming on in. Clem with a smaller army, though. I mean, there's not a lot on the ground here for the Terran, but he does use his Vikings to clean out 4 of the Colossus, so Harstem really just has Stalkers. And he's going to go in, he's going to try and get on top of his opponent's production. If he can do that, maybe he can make a miracle happen, but the Marauders, comboed with the EMP, will just pick off the Stalkers pretty easily. Harstem goes in, but Harstem is not going to come out, and I think the game is going to go to Clem. GG, a beautiful TvP from Clem. Harstem, he put up a good fight. He showed just good gumption to keep going and fighting non-stop, but in the end, it was just too much for Clem. Like, Clem had a slight lead this entire game, and eventually he won out. Harstem, he had good steadfast, but yeah, I mean, well played indeed by Clem. This is why I love watching Harstem games. I feel like I was just talking non-stop about what was going on, and yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed Clem and Harstem's play, press that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Join the Discord to hang out. If you want to support the channel, there is that option via the new YouTube membership. It's just basically like Twitch subscriptions. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.